are now plugged into Hooked on Science with Bruce and Tony Kong.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to this week's episode of Hooked on Sonics. I am one of your two powerful and attractive hosts. I'm Bruce, and over there is Big Daddy himself, Tone Capone. We've got a great show for you guys. We are going to be reviewing Charlie Daniels' Saddle Tramp album from 1976 and what some would call a hidden gem in Roky Erickson, formerly of the 13th Floor Elevators, with his album. And that was hold on, I forgot already. Fantastic beginning. Don't Slander Me. That has no indication of how I'm going to rate this album, by the way. Just heads up. Lots of music news and all that jazz. Got some alcohols to talk about. Before we get into that, Tony, how are you?
Good evening.
Good.
I'm good, brother. Good. Just sitting here ready to do this show. I think we got a good one, a really nice show warmed up for tonight. Lots of cool stuff going on in music right now, man. The holidays, you got Record Store Black Friday, like you said, or we had discussed earlier. So lots of cool stuff going on in music today. This is going to be a bit of a fun show, man. So let's get started, man. I'm pumped.
Absolutely.
I'm pumped. I'm very excited by this show.
Absolutely.
So with that being said, Bruce, what you been listening to this week, man?
Well, let me tell you what I've been listening to. Obviously, I was listening to that Roky Erickson. I started doing some research on the guy, and I started listening to his original band from the 60s, 13th Floor Elevator, did a deep dive on them. Some really interesting stuff there. Let's see, Mainscape or something like that. Mainskin. Ever hear of them? Okay, they're kind of a big deal with the kids these days. Anyway, I started listening to them, and I was like, oh, I'm kind of pleasantly surprised on how cool these dudes are. And I picked up a few items for Black Friday Record Store Day. It is not as big as normal Record Store Day, but it does have some cool pieces. And I'm going to show you some of the things that I picked up on Friday. First, we'll get the bad stuff out of the way, or at least bad to you. This is the Doors, live in Bakersfield, California, 1970. This is a numbered limited edition pressing of this. This is one of the kind of the holy grails of unreleased concerts for them. So.
Nice.
And it's on orange vinyl.
Did you get to listen to it yet?
I have not listened to it yet.
Okay.
But I'm excited.
It's on the agenda.
That's right. And then I've picked up the 50-year anniversary of one of my favorite Willie Nelson albums, Shotgun Willie. Really cool little essay thing here. This one did not have colored vinyl. But that'd be weird for a Willie Nelson album to have colored vinyl, but whatever. So it's got the original tracks, remastered everything, and then a whole album of outtakes and demos, which is really cool. And last but certainly not least, Record Store Day was also the day that Eric Carr died. So in honor of that, they re-released Rockology on a picture disc version. So
nice.
Yeah. And it's only one pressing worldwide. That's it. They're not doing any more.
How many were released?
If I remember right, I think it was 1,500 worldwide.
Now, do you own that on the back wall back there?
Yes. Now, so this is the original Record Store Day, 2 LP, colored. It was a colored vinyl, like not sparkle, but like orange and black and white, like splatter on that. So that's a little more deluxe. This is just a single picture disc on that. So,
Huh.
yeah.
Nice.
So all you Kiss nerds out there, that's definitely something just to pick up.
Yeah. That's nice.
Yeah, man. So what have you been listening to?
I was sitting there thinking about that, man, and I have been listening to. Was listening to some Ohm. Listened to some Elvis Presley. Was listening to some Toby Keith.
Really?
Just so with the stereo in the garage, we've decided that we're going to mainly buy like greatest hits CDs and stick them and load them in that 101 disc CD changer. That way, we've got a bunch of great artists with their greatest hits. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And sometimes with some of those greatest hit CDs, you get live tracks and shit too, which is really cool. I was just discussing this with a guy this evening, but that's what we're going to do. So we got Toby Heath 30 big hits or something like that, and then we got Jim Croce's greatest hits. And this is just the start of what we've done. And then there's going to be some pivotal albums in there, like Dark Side of the Moon. We picked that up because that's just one of my all-time favorite albums. It's like all-time, hands down, undisputed, one of my favorite albums. And I'm a big Floyd fan. What else was I listening to this week? I was really trying to figure that out. Obviously the album that you gave me, and I was listening to some of the album that I'm going to give you, because now that we're doing the show, I'm going to kind of tell you, when I give you my album this evening, you're going to be on a bit of a journey for a little minute. I'm going to take you on a bit of a side quest of a style of music that I really enjoy listening to, and give you what I think is some pretty cool introductory albums into some of these bands if you want to further check them out. So I look forward to what I'm giving you this evening. And I know you're probably going to hook me up with something pretty good, but it'll be interesting to see what your take is on some of the stuff that I'm going to give you. I will promise you this: you're not going to deal with the whole Cookie Monster vocal thing. I know you're not a big fan of that, but it's not really something you'll have to deal with. So
cool.
Yeah.
Bring it.
Oh, I am. I'm swinging. I'm swinging. Like I said, dude, you're gonna be on a side quest. You're gonna do something we haven't touched base on at all.
Okay.
In all these episodes, and I'm gonna take you on a bit of a side quest. So.
Sweet.
Cool. Other than that, man, just yeah. What else was I checking out this week, man? Fuck. Oh, probably some High on Fire. I've just found out here recently that just ahead of music news, Woodwright or Woodbine Guitars through Does It Doom, I think through Does It Doom, is getting ready to release a probably limited run of Matt Pike's signature Warlords. And I've been up in the air on whether or not to buy like my final guitar until I have some real money and I really want to buy a real nice guitar. It's been a hard toss up between a Gibson Les Paul and a Woodwright Warlord.
Okay.
And the Warlord is just the reason why I like the Warlord is almost like the perfect blend of an SG body with a Les Paul ass.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So it's
Very
like
cool.
it's like a double cut Les Paul.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I have to check that out.
They're beautiful. absolutely beautiful, and they're set up and made for the style of music that I play. So I don't have to fight with going to the shop and having it fucking set up because it comes set up in C.
Okay.
Yeah. They're nice, man. They're fucking nice, dude. But a nice Les Paul's nice too, you know?
Oh yeah.
But this may have been the thing that crossed the front threshold for me. A fucking Matt Pike signature fucking. I'm hoping that they do. It'd be really cool. I think they're going to do a triple humbucker setup.
It looked like it. I
Did you
do
see it?
remember seeing. Yeah, I do remember seeing the video. Yep.
Yeah, dude. It looks like they're going to do a triple humbucker setup. But one of the things everybody would kind of like to see is them do a replication of his 9-string fucking first act.
A 9-string first act.
Dude, so listen, first act is like line 6. And this is no disrespect to the companies, it's just the way that it is. Their low end shit is pretty low end, man, but it does a lot of shit, right? But their high end shit is fucking quality shit. Like a first act custom is actually a really nice fucking guitar. But he's got a first act custom 9-string, dude. That's a double. I believe it's a double cut too, like a double cut style Les Paul.
Okay.
And brutal, brutal. Brings the tone, dude. Brings the motherfucking tone. So it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see it. Either way, I'm pretty sure I'm absolutely going to love the guitar. There's no doubt in my fucking mind about it. I've just got to see what the price tag's going to be and if it's something that I can make happen.
Send it, baby. Send it.
I
You
want
got
it,
it.
dude.
You got it. That's fine.
Dude. I wish
You
I had
got it.
Dude.
If you can afford that Big Daddy cup, you can afford that double cut Warlock Les Paul SG Jr. Look at that.
Speaking of the Big Daddy Cup,
Yeah.
this is something you won't see me do often, but through the winter months, due to the holidays coming in, the kids had picked me up a bottle of Benchmark eggnog.
Ah.
And I could get about 2 of these full, and the bottle's empty.
Nice.
About 30% alcohol by volume. Nice little bourbon flavor in there.
Mm-hmm.
Good eggnog. Not as good as a friend of mine's eggnog. I don't know if he's watching, but if he is, he knows who he is. I'll talk about it later.
All right.
But how are you a fan of egg? Are you an eggnog fan or no?
Absolutely.
Alcohol or no?
Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah.
Both, but yeah, it does not hurt with alcohol.
You got a Kroger down there or something like that?
Yeah, in Kentucky.
You got your liquor store or something down there. Look for this stuff. It's probably cheap, man. It's not bad for a bottle. Put it in the fucking fridge. Let it sit there for a couple days.
Mm-hmm.
Bada bang, bada motherfucking boom. Shit's pretty fucking good.
So what rating would you give it, sir?
I'm going to give this, because I've had a great eggnog through that friend I was telling you about.
Mm-hmm.
I am actually going to give this 4.25.
Okay.
It's good.
That's a nice eggnog.
It is a nice eggnog. It is not a bad eggnog by any means. 4.25. Buffalo Trace never really does disappoint.
No.
Yeah, fuck, dude. They're such a hard miss, dude.
Yep, I agree. They're great. So,
what are you having this evening?
Well, I'll tell you. So, it's been a little cold here lately for both Ohio and Tennessee, and I wanted to at least mentally escape to somewhere a little warmer. So, I had to go all the way to Texas to get some Lone Star beer.
Nice.
Yes. This is the National Beer of Texas.
Brewed National Beer of Texas.
That's right. National Beer of Texas. And It's in their logo. It's fine. And brewed in Austin, Texas. And this is just a fine. It's a fine, easy drink.
Really? And where does one pick that up at?
You got to look for it. Not every store carries it. So here in Tennessee, the food cities carry it, and some liquor stores. But
what's the ABV on it?
It's like a 5.59, I think it was 5.759.
Lager or Pilsner?
More of a Pilsner. Yep. And it's one of my favorite go-to beers. I'm gonna give it a 4.8. 4.8. Lone Star.
Yeah.
Is the show boring you already? You got to check your watch.
No. Got a text message. Got a text message from Suspect. Somebody in Suspect. So
Okay.
it caught my attention. Give me 1 second. Let me take a look and see what he said. I have no idea what the hell he wants. Anyways, sorry for the interruption, folks. I'll get back with him after the show or something. With that being said, 4.8, huh?
Yep.
4.8.
Highly recommend this to anyone. If we have any listeners in Texas, if you can pick me up some Pearl beer, also pretty much only found in Texas. If you can find me some Pearl beer, I would gladly pay the shipping for it.
There might be rules and regulations on that.
We got friends.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So now, is your whistle wetted?
My whistle is very wet.
Okay. Wet enough to get into some of this news here you got going on?
Yeah, let's talk about it.
All right.
First thing I want to talk about is obviously, being that you are a big Kiss fan, this 10,000 volt track release from the title track of the 10,000 volt album for Ace Frehley. I know that you took in the video. I took in the video. You've talked to a couple guys about it. Let's talk about that, man. How you feel about that, being a Kiss fan and, obviously a fan of, Ace there.
Yeah. So let me preface this by saying I am a Ace Frehley fanatic. Ace is my favorite member, and I like pretty much everything that he's done. Where everyone else has pretty much shit on it, I really enjoy almost every bit of his solo career. Having said that, I was excited to see that he's putting out this album. This album actually comes out in February. 10,000 Volts, the single, was released today. High expectations. A lot of rock journalists, a lot of people that were working with Ace on this, were all singing its praises. So I was I was very optimistic about it. I heard it this morning, bright and squirrely at 6 a.m. And I come away saying, oh, it was kind of disappointing. Disappointing to me. The lyrics the lyrics were stupid. And I'm not, look, anyone in Kiss is not going to write some sonnet. But even from Kiss standards, the lyrics were kind of stupid. And the guitar solo was just plain lazy. Yeah, I was disappointed.
But dude, you and I both know that when it comes to some of the lyrical content for especially for Ace, it doesn't seem to come across as, as well thought of as it does more so of I'm having a good time.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, that's definitely there. I mean, if you're used to that with Ace and you understand that's part of his writing style, it is what it is. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But I've done told you how I feel about it. I think
Yeah,
that
but you
so
didn't tell everyone else.
I don't think that solo is his. I don't. I think it's I'm pretty good with DNA of a fucking guitar player and understanding their nuances. It doesn't sound like him.
I completely disagree.
I just to me it doesn't sound like him, dude. Like the Ace Frehley I know is a much sloppier player.
Right.
While
And
that may not be that solo may not be too tactful and skillful, it's still too fucking clean to sound like Ace to me. Now I
mm-hmm.
could be wrong. I could be 110% wrong. All right, but I'm not the guy in the studio, and neither are you. So you seen him lay that fucking down. Unless I see with my two own eyes that this motherfucker can lay that down, I don't believe it.
I've heard enough interviews with Ace where he's talking about Pro Tools and so yeah, I take a little bit of this one, a little bit of that one, put it together, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, he spliced that thing together.
I don't know, dude.
Uh,
I there's a like if he can't do it live, then why do it at all?
Listen, he should be able to do that solo live because it's pretty much the same solo for I don't know how many countless other solos he's done.
All right.
Ah,
Whether or not I like the song, I'll be honest with you. And I know that you've tried to show me a bunch of his shit, like
mm-hmm.
the origin shit and shit, whatnot, dude. And I just could not get behind it. This almost feels like something that fell in between Fraley's Comet and Trouble Walking.
You're the second person that said that.
This
I
really
don't hear it.
this really kind of feels like it's fit somewhere between, like it's got a blend of both,
Mm-hmm.
and it's cool to hear that style of writing and Ace just being Ace vocally, and that's what I liked about it. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
but it's disappointing to think that the Ace that I know, that's what makes him such a cool guitar player is how sloppy he is, right?
Yep.
And it's the same way with and I just had this fucking that's funny, we just had this conversation. Just had this conversation with the guys over at Sam's. Fucking uh you know, Jimmy Page
Mm-hmm.
is a sloppy guitar player. I don't care what anybody says. He is. But some of the best that and I don't mean that with disrespect. It's just a lot of these guys play more with feel, and
Yep.
sometimes that feel comes across not so technical sounding as much as it is, you know, more bluesy or sloppy or more more on the spot. You know what I'm saying? Instead of just here I am going through the fucking scales. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, and it's not by any means any disrespect when I say sloppy. It's just, there's a lot more soul there, and there's that kind of playing or that kind of feel writes a guitar player's DNA. It's like it doesn't matter, right? If you were listening to Taylor Swift, you know, and all of a sudden a lead come across the fucking shit and you went, oh, that's Eddie Van Halen. That's Eddie Van Halen for sure. You recognize guitar DNA. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean? And that doesn't seem very recognizable to me.
Yeah.
Now I may have to go back and listen to it. I'm not trying to be disrespectful. Please understand that. I just feel like it was too clean. And it's a bummer because I like sloppy Ace. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
And and I don't want anyone to think that I'm not excited and I won't. I'm definitely going to get this album when it comes out. I'm excited to hear more of this stuff. They released the track listing for the whole thing, and he's finally put out a demo from back in the 80s called Back in My Arms Again. And it is one of my favorite Ace Frehley tracks that has never been released. Absolutely love it. And he finally recorded it. So I'm excited to hear that. And, I'm still a huge fan. I just wasn't a fan of this song.
Well, and the other thing, man, is it just seems like you said, it seems very Pro Tools.
Mm-hmm.
It just seems very very. I don't know, man. It's just the album just the track just didn't seem like it had feel.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So that's just my take on it.
Yep.
Other than that, we saw some people were getting ready to go out on tour. I think Nickelback's getting ready to do a European tour or something like that to that effect. We got what else did we deal with? Let's take a look over here at Blabbermouth.
Kiss is ending their tour.
Yeah, they are.
End of days, last day, Saturday, December 2nd, Madison Square Garden.
What a way to go out at Madison Square Garden.
Yep.
What a way.
Yep. No special guests. Bruce Kulick, former guitarist for Kiss, has come out and said earlier, I believe late last week or early this week, saying that he is not going to be there for any kind of special thing for the last show. Ace and Peters already said that they weren't invited and they are not going to anything. And so it's just going to be another Kiss show, and that's it. It's kind of sad.
Well, think about this. The drama, the bullshit that would go and getting everybody involved. Like it's just the way it is. Yep. It's just the way it is, man. And if I know, I'm pretty sure Paul wants to put it to bed, dude.
Yes.
I think Gene would attempt to do it forever if he could, just to milk it for all that it's worth. But I think Paul's fucking tired, dude.
I think Gene's still having fun. Paul's over it.
Yeah.
You can look at, if you ever follow him on Twitter or whatever, he's just miserable. Yeah. He's just miserable. He wants to be done with it.
Yeah, and I think that may be the same situation with what happened with Slayer. Tom Araya was just done. After Tom Hanneman died and Lombardo was gone, and they maybe contracts were fucking finally coming to an end, and it was just like, man, I'm just done, dude. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know all the circumstances behind it, but dude, I'm sure at some point, and I get it. You just go, fuck it, dude. I'm not feeling it today, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So.
Yep. But it's been a good run, 50 years.
Yeah. Godsmack announces more dates for 2024.
I'd like to go see them.
Blind Guardian announces a spring 2024 of North American tour. Steel Panther's going to do some January, February tour dates, it looks like. Avenged Sevenfold announces a 2024 American tour. Let's see. Obviously, we discussed Ace doing his thing there. Looks like Zach Sabbath's going to release an album called Doomed Forever, Forever Doomed in March. And Hellfest was recently announced. A bunch of confirmed artists, man. That lineup looks nuts, man. That lineup looks all kinds of insane. If you get the chance, take a look at that thing. Okay. That's very interesting. And another thing I saw that was interesting, sequel to the iconic mockumentary Spinal Tap to start filming in February of 2024.
Oh boy.
That should be a lot of fun, man.
Yeah.
That should be a lot of fun. Let's see. David Lee Roth how David Lee Roth changed the world. New book due out in January.
But that's interesting.
Yeah.
Did you ever read his first book?
No, dude. I don't get a lot of time to sit down and read a book, man. I'd love to. I got books up here I haven't even touched.
Yeah, that book is currently out of print. But if you ever go to a used bookstore and you find that, pick it up, because reading that book is exactly like talking to Dave. It's all over the place, and you're trying to figure out where the hell, how did we get to the Amazon? What the hell are you talking about? It's a good read.
Metallica receives the Sound Exchange Hall of Fame award. I was like Marty Friedman's working on a new album. Yeah, there was a ton going on, man. Geezer Butler disputes Ozzy Osbourne's claim that he never contacted Ozzy to check on him during illness. Interesting. And the fighting continues.
Yep. Well, Geezer's wife and Sharon don't speak, and therefore Geezer and Ozzy aren't allowed to speak.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. All right. Well, the folks, unless you got something else for us, Bruce, I think you might have some other information.
Yeah, just real quick. Today we are recording on November 28th, celebrating a birthday today. Good old Randy Newman. Do you remember who Randy Newman was?
Cars?
Nope.
Here in my car.
No, that is something. Yeah. Lord have mercy on the working man. There's a bunch of 80s stuff that he did. Interesting cat. See, Barry Gordy from Motown fame. His birthday today. And Matt Cameron, the drummer for Pearl Jam. It's his birthday today. Albums that were released this day, 1969. One of my other favorite Stones albums, Let It Bleed.
Interesting.
Believe that was the last one they did with Brian Jones before he died. And I'm trying to think. Prince, I Would Die For You was released today. So
I would die for you.
Yeah. That's pretty much it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, folks, that's the news.
Sweet.
All right, brother. Well, I think we got some albums to review.
We do. I cannot remember who went first last time.
Honestly, I believe it was me. No disrespect to you, but I think you should kick this thing off.
Sweet. Okay. Well, I'm gonna kick this off then. I had Roky Erickson and his album "Don't Slander Me." That bad boy was released in, according to my notes, 1986. I don't have an actual release date, but it was actually recorded in 1982. For people that don't know anything about Roky Erickson, when I was kind of doing my research, asking around different people at the record store or, record store and stuff, hey, have you heard of this Roky Erickson guy? And everyone kind of said the same thing. Yeah, he's kind of like Syd Barrett. Like, what do you mean? Yeah, he went crazy. So, okay, well, what's that mean? At one point, they were doing him and a lot of the other members of 13th Floor Elevator, the psychedelic band that he was a part of. They did a lot of psychedelics, and he went crazy. He started developing a thing where he would steal junk mail and he would plaster his walls with it. He got busted by the cops. He was facing prison time, and he pleaded out of it and checked himself into a nut house in Texas. And then upon his release, he was good for a while, put out a couple little albums here and there, tried to start up a different band, and then he started going off the rails again, claimed he was abducted by aliens and that an alien was living in his body. Went back, and he had a hard life, but especially in the 80s, he had this really interesting output of music. So I believe it was the second album of the 80s, Don't Slander Me, um, was really a complete departure from any of the stuff that any of the psychedelic stuff that he did with 13th Floor Elevator. To me, this was kind of punky, had a punk rock feel to it, a rockabilly type feel to it, um, kind of a, I don't know, how would you describe it?
It is everything about American music in one album.
Hmm. That's an interesting way to put it. Interesting way to put it.
You got a blues element, you've
Yep.
got your punk element, which, you've got your rock element, you've got your folk element. There's just Americana right all over this album.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yep.
I think the man, just like, I don't think I've listened to too much that I haven't really enjoyed from him. Not that I have a huge frame of reference. I just know this album's really good, in
Mm-hmm.
my opinion. This is
Yeah.
just in my opinion. And it's unfortunate because he did have a hard life. And he's kind of like the David Allen Co. People know him, people love him, people respect what he did for music, but he's never going to get that big break where
Yeah.
he's going to reach stardom. And he wrote wonderful material,
Mm-hmm.
dude. That album alone, Burn the Flames, is my hands down favorite fucking track from Roky Erickson, dude.
Mm.
And it's because it's from one of my favorite horror movies. That's how I would learn about Roky Erickson. Is I would get this soundtrack, and on that, because I was a big fan of movie soundtracks,
Yeah.
especially if the soundtrack was good. And this is one of my favorite, off of one of my favorite movie soundtracks. And that track is. Have you ever seen Return of the Living Dead?
Yeah. The one in the 80s where yeah, there's like toxic sludge or something like that.
And the punk rockers were in the
Yeah.
cemetery and shit,
Yeah.
right? So if you remember, the one punk rocker's boyfriend worked at the fucking morgue,
Yep.
right? So the guy that he was working with at the morgue, the older man,
Uh-huh.
when he went to put himself into the crematorium,
Uh-huh.
the song "Burn the Flames" is what was playing.
That's cool.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
cool.
dude. So yeah, like this, I don't know, man. And then actually sitting down and listening to the album, it's there's a good variety of tones and
Yeah.
music there, man. And it's unfortunate that not a lot. I hope I gifted you something. That's all I'm at. That's all I'm saying is I hope I gifted you something that you can go, wow, man, what an artist. How unfortunate that I never got to hear him, knowing all the stuff that you listened to. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yeah, so fortunately he died May 31st in 2019, age 71. Don't really know exactly how he died, but um, yeah, definitely check this guy out. But actually, on to the album. This is a fantastic album. His singing voice in these 80s albums that he did kind of reminds me of Rob Halford in some aspects.
Mm-hmm.
Not the screeching or that high pitch stuff, but just like a normal uh singing voice. And I really liked it. Don't Slander Me, the title track's first one, really good song. Haunt was really good. It's got some horns in that bad boy. And that was cool. It's, again, that rockabilly kind of 50s kind of vibe to it. Crazy Crazy Mama. That's a great trifecta of songs right there. And then I don't remember much about Nothing in Return, but I don't definitely nothing here where I turned it off or
Right.
I flipped through it. So Burn the Flames, very, very cool song.
Here I sit, a vampire
Yeah.
at my piano.
So it just kind of bizarre lyrics, but they were fun. They weren't like, oh God.
The flames they burn,
Yeah.
glaringly higher. Oh, dude, I love it, dude. I
Yeah.
love it, dude.
Yep. The damn thing. The damn thing was really cool. Realize Your Mind was great. I mean, 13 tracks on here. There wasn't a skippable track on this.
I hope that you would like this album, dude. I
Yeah.
really did.
Yeah. Um, is this an album that I'm going to consistently go back to? Maybe, maybe. But I'm definitely interested in more of his work. So I having said that, I'm going to give this thing a 9.9.
That's pretty high.
9.9. It's fun. It's a good album, man. And it's got a little blend of, old time rock and roll, uh, rockabilly, just strange, spooky lyrics, and just kind of, it's just fun. It's fun listening to a madman.
It's just a good album. It's just
and
a
phenomenal,
fucking good album.
Great guitar player.
Yeah.
Great guitar player.
Yeah.
Yep. So that's where I give it.
It gets a solid 10 from me. That's why I gave it to you.
Yeah.
It's a good album.
Yeah.
I don't get to go back to it often enough, but I should.
Yeah. You should.
Nice.
You should definitely check out more of his stuff too.
Yeah. He's somebody I'm definitely going to take a huger deep dive on. Yeah, because it's absolutely wonderful. 9.9, huh? Would have been a 10 banger for me all day, man. Just a good album.
Yeah.
Just a good album. I don't know that anybody else would rate it that, man, but I thought it was a really fucking good album. Really.
Yeah, I don't think anyone really. Again, the cover art's not really
flashy.
Yeah, it's just real plain. You're like, okay, who the hell's this guy? But if you actually listen to it, and you're like, oh, and then once you kind of understand some of his backstory, that makes him an even more interesting character. And then you start listening to the lyrics, like, okay, was he in one of these episodes on something? Yeah, it's fascinating. It was a good listen for sure. Thank you.
Cheers, brother.
Salute.
9.9. Thank you. You should have just fucking gave it a damn 10.
Out of spite.
Mm-hmm. All right, rolling on. We'll move on to the album that you gave me last week.
Yes, sir.
Album was released in 1976. It's Charles Daniels Band, Saddle Tramp. This thing had 7 tracks on it. Probably about a 45-minute listen, tops. Not a bad album. Let me preface that saying that I'm not a big country fan. Very, very familiar with the obvious art. It's just not my go-to style. We've discussed this several times in the past. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to continue beating a dead horse going over that. However, I am going to go over this album here real quick. And like I discussed on the last album, I've moved on to writing the track of the album down and just kind of putting a rating system on it. Mm-hmm. And that's just rating each track individually. And then where I come up with the rating is, like A, B, C, D, E, F, A, B, C, D fucking rating, A, B, C, D, E, F rating. So anyways, across the board on this, man, I'm not going to sit here and tell you there's a standout track on this album. I can't give anything a standout track on this album.
What?
Hold on a minute. Let me finish what the fuck listening. I've got to fucking say, okay?
Oh,
a standout would be an A+ to me. Okay, like this is a banger. I'd go back and listen to this on the album. But I will say this: every track on this album, 7 tracks, all of them got an A. All of them got an A except one. The one that got a B was actually Wichita Jail. It's a fun track. It's just, it's it to me it kind of felt just a little out of place, but it wasn't a bad track. It wasn't worth skipping, you know.
Mm-hmm.
The album overall is an amazing uh example of country, gospel, outlaw country, blues. This is a very, very phenomenal album. It's My Life, super
Mm-hmm.
bluesy track. Um, like I said, Wichita Jail, fun. Saddle Tramp, longest track on the album, and the
Mm-hmm.
title track. There is a really cool fucking jam these guys get down. You start knitting and gritting down in that shit,
Mm-hmm.
man. It's really cool shit. This is a very fun album. It's a very upbeat album. It's got a lot of tongue in cheek in it. This is a very fun country album. And for a 40-minute listen, I don't think it's a bad listen. I don't think there's a bad track on the album. I'm not going to say anything negative about any track on this album. Dixie on My Mind got an A. Saddle Tramp, nice jam on there, got an A. Sweet Louisiana got an A. Wichita Jail, a fun track, but still got a B. Cumberland Mountain, number 9. Awesome little track there. Got an A. It's My Life. I love the bluesy aspect of it. Sweetwater, Texas. What a phenomenal closer to what was already a great album. And in the intro, Dixie on My Mind, great intro.
Mm-hmm.
This is a good country album. I'm just going to just call it for what it is. It really is. So overall, the only reason I would ding this album is it would be really freaking cool if there were 3 more tracks.
Mm.
Round that thing up to about 60 minutes, roughly just before 60 minutes. Man,
Yeah.
this would be a solid 10 banger. Put 3 more badass tracks on this fucking album. Just upbeat, keep it rocking like you've been doing. Throw another jam on there
Mm-hmm.
or something. Something. This would have been a 10 from me all day long. So I am actually going to personally give this album, and it's got me wanting to check out a little more Charlie Daniels, which is kind of cool, because I didn't know anything other than Devil Went Down to Georgia, to be honest, because that's all
Yeah.
anybody knows. This is fun. This is fun. This is a lot of fucking. This is a good little album. I'm gonna give it a 9.5, man.
Beautiful.
Only
Let.
reason, only reason I'm gonna ding it is because I wish there was more on it. I
Yeah.
really do wish there was more on it.
Very cool. Let's talk just real quick before we end this part of it.
Mhm.
Let's talk about the actual musicianship and the tempo changes in multiple songs
On
on
this out
this.
on
Yeah,
this.
on this
Oh yeah.
album.
Oh
Oh,
yeah. Yeah. This is on my album or yours.
on Saddle Tramp.
Okay. Yeah. This album, man, it's like I said, there's just a really good mix across the musical board of country, outlaw country, gospel,
Jazz.
Americana, blues. Like they really get in it, man. And this musically, sonically, this is a great album. All the play, and I've said this before, and you'll hear me say this about when I think a band is on or they're tight. All the
Mhm.
players are there.
Yeah.
All the players are there.
Yeah.
You don't need to worry about any of that. Everybody's doing their job and doing it well.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So
My only ding on this album, and it's a slight ding, on a lot of these songs, the you know again the fantastic musicianship throughout the entire thing, and then the endings, like they blew their wad for each song, like, oh shit, how do we end this thing? And some of the endings were just
I
eh.
could see that, but
You know what I mean?
it wasn't enough to make me go and service it.
No, no, definitely not going to shit on this album, but it's like, oh, okay, I kind of wish maybe a little different ending here, but for me, I'm right with you. I'm a 9.9 on this. It's Damn, I love this. Is probably my favorite Charlie Daniels album.
It's a solid album. I'm not going to say that it's not, man.
Yeah.
I mean, it's 7 tracks. It's about 40 minutes, man. I wish there was a few more tracks on it, and they could have kept it. They could have kept it rocking. It was a good album. I'm not going to say that it was a bad album, but once again, please keep in mind, I am not a country fan. I'm just basing this on my experience with the album. I listened to the album probably sometime the day of the show. Like I listened to it earlier today, and you get my freshest take on it. I don't sit and let an album marinate. If I like an album well enough, it'll probably end up marinating. But once again, country is just not my go-to. I listen to some of it, every once in a while. I'll pull some up, but and that kind of brings me to my discussion in regards to tonight.
Mm-hmm.
It's not exactly my go-to.
Yeah.
But I go to it every so often, kind of like country. I'm ready to give you my album for next week. You are going on a side adventure at my request. You're heading off on a side adventure in a musical realm we have not discussed on this podcast at all.
Okay.
And I think that you should start with some of the people that do it the best and some of the people that have been around the longest.
Okay.
Your next album is coming from a band of industrial masters.
Okay.
KMFDM is the name of the band. KMFDM.
Okay.
The name of the album is called Hell Yeah. It was released a few years back, and every once in a while I go back and I listen to a band that I haven't listened to in a while. I see what they've been up to musically, and about that time I caught that album, and I thought, man, wow, these guys are still doing a wonderful fucking job, man. This is still good. I enjoyed the album. Maybe other major serious fans aren't, more hardcore fans don't enjoy the album or whatever. Me personally, I enjoyed the album. So I give you KMFDM's Hell Yeah.
Hell yeah. Sweet. Okay, so I'm going to take you on a little journey myself. Something. So I was at my favorite record store, Lost and Found Records, located on Broadway in Knoxville, Tennessee. Anyway, there you go. One of the guys that worked there, a friend of the show, Johnny. I found out that he was a roadie and drum tech for the Screaming Trees. Now, I knew of the Screaming Trees, but I never really heard of them. So they're apparently one of the guys in the band wrote a book about their time on the road, and then there was actually a story in the book about John. And so I was like, okay, well, I'm going to listen to some Screaming Trees because now I'm kind of interested in these guys. And I asked Johnny what his favorite album was, and he told me, and I don't remember off the top of my head what it is. I listened to it. I'm like, okay, but I turned this other one on that I'm going to give you, and this is probably my favorite Screaming Trees album. And it is Sweet Oblivion. Oh, Johnny's was Buzz Factory. He liked Buzz Factory. I like Sweet Oblivion a little bit better. So,
all right. Sounds
That's
like you got your work cut out for you. So now that I've informed you that you're getting ready to take an industrial journey, how do you feel about that?
Yeah, let's bring it on. Let's bring it on. If it moves, baby, I'm probably in it.
Hey, just for the record, these guys are labeled the masters of the ultra beat.
Ultra beat. And then next episode, guys, I'm going to bring in some glow sticks.
No, seriously though, I like industrial. I like industrial sounding. I like certain, house music, trap music, and stuff like that. I think it's very cool how they put it together. I love electronica shit like that, man. Um, and I always have been a bit of a fan of it. Not that I know much about it. I just think it's really cool how it does get put together. And there's some really cool shit out there, man. And the next two or three bands or two or three albums that you're going to get are going to be a lesson in education and going, Tony really listens to this shit. And it's a fact.
Yeah.
These are favorite albums I'll be giving you and of the genre and of mine.
Cool.
Lots of good stuff out there, man. Lots of good stuff out there.
Yep. Looking forward to it.
Good deal, man. So just for the record, we want to hear real quick. I wanted to bring this up while we were on the show. How'd that poll go?
You know what? I just remembered, and I'm going to tell you here in just a minute, because I just love reacting to our fans. Let's see. Let me pull it up. One momento, por favor. Okay. This week's poll or last week's poll. What song was better / rocks more? Roadhouse Blues by the Doors or Journey's Wheel in the Sky? There were 24 votes. And your winner with 54% of the vote, Roadhouse Blues.
That's a close call, whether you like it or not, sucker.
But it's a win. I'll take it.
It is a win. It is a win. You got to poll for us next week?
Not yet.
Come on. Come on.
I haven't figured it out yet. I'm slacking.
Let's see. What can we poll for next week off of this show? What can we poll off of this week for next show? Come up with a good one. Let's see.
Yeah.
Or even next week's show.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. We'll put it on social media. I can't think of it right now.
Okay. Okay. All right. So
Slacking.
just for all you folks out there, just real quick, let me go ahead and say this. We appreciate every one of you that are listening and watching. We do this because we enjoy doing it. We don't do it because we think we're going to be millionaires or anything at it. If that works out, great. That'd be wonderful. But at the end of the day, we do this because we enjoy doing it and we enjoy sharing these musical experiences with you. If you like what you see here, please like, comment, hit that bell down there at the bottom and subscribe. You can catch us on all of your favorite streaming services, all of them. All right, you can catch us anywhere. If you can't catch us on the YouTube, feel free to catch us on your streaming services while you're listening or hanging out at work. Once again, we are Hooked on Sonics. I'm Tony. Bruce may have some more information for you before we go. Bruce?
I got nothing.
I got nothing. Nothing?
Am I supposed to have something?
Not even a goodbye? Thank you, folks, for
Well,
listening.
that was
Have a
part
wonderful
of it.
evening. Come on now.
That was part of it. Have a wonderful evening, guys.
And a wonderful holiday season. I hope your Thanksgiving has gone well. And we thank all three of you listeners out there. We'll look forward to seeing you next time around. Bruce?
You might get a Christmas card.
See ya.
See ya.